Hello everybody, my name's Nicci, I'm from Gracie's house and I'm a Redesign with Prima Brand Ambassador. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon for me. I think for a lot of you over in America it's going to be about 8 o'clock in the morning. So good morning to you guys. I'm going to get right into telling you what I've been working on. So this is, after a bit of research, I've discovered that this is a Scottish designed Victorian chest of drawers. Nice mahogany piece that I picked up for a bargain price at a charity shop, which is goodwill for you guys. So I'm going to be working today using the Parisian Letter and oops, that's just fallen at the bottom. So Parisian Letter and Wondrous Floral 2. Full disclaimer, up until yesterday I was going to be using Wondrous Floral 1, and then when I went in the cupboard I discovered I don't actually have it. So I had a slight rework of the plan, but actually I'm quite pleased. It's quite delicate and I'm quite happy with where I am. So I've got some names I recognise popping up. If you're on and you want to say hello, drop me a little message. We've got Joan, Debbie, Erin, Teresa. I recognise all your names. Thank you for joining me. So I have done my planning before coming live with you, just because it would take up so much time. And Roz is there as well. Hi Roz, morning. So I have done quite a lot of cutting. The great thing is that this is an old piece. If you can see, there's no lines on this one. I'll just get you in. So this is a slightly older one that I had some scraps left of. Now they've got the guidelines on. Can you see those? So and I love, the guidelines are really helpful, especially when you're trimming them up and cutting them up. And I've been placing these on the drawers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the camera back so you can see the full piece, but I've got it up close so that you can just see a little bit more of what I'm doing. So I'm going to pull it back so you can see the whole piece. There we go. But I'm going to start at the top and work down. So I haven't used both of the transfers. I've cut them up to fit what I've got and make them work for my piece. So let's bring you back again. So I'm going to get started on the top piece. Now I haven't really got anything that's overlapping here. I've got my transfer tool and my wooden stick, my lollipop stick. Both will work just as well. I'm going to start on this one here. So you'll see that I've got all these pieces taped, and it's just so that you can keep standing back from your piece and looking at how it's balancing and if you're happy with how it looks. And I just find that works really well with me. So this top one, this is like a little secret drawer. There's no handles. Hi, Jackie. There's no handles on this top one. This is one of those secret drawers. So those of you that follow my page, yesterday I talked you through where I'd got to here. So prep and everything. And you won't have seen these. So these are new as well. I think these moulds are from Kingsbury Medallion. That's the one that brings to mind. So I've got one on each of those. So they were plain before. And I've also made the other section of that. I've also got some more. And it depends how it goes, whether I end up having them as backing plates to the knobs that go on and whether they're going to cover up the transfer too much. But the plan is that we're going to be using those as well. Not today, but I wanted to show you what I've got in mind. Roz, please correct me if I've got the wrong mould name there. I'm sure you recognise that one. So, as I said, we're going to be starting at the top. Like I said, I've pre-cut. This is a scrap from an old one. And because I've got shapes, I'm going to start at the top here. I might just stand up because you have to. And then work round the curve. So I've been in the workshop for a little bit longer this morning, so I'm nice and warm today. Anyone that was watching yesterday on my page, oh, it was cold. I hadn't been in for very long, and oh, the cold was getting to me a bit. But the heater's been in here for ages now. I'm just going to remove that piece of tape now that I've got that on there. Okay, and then I'm just going to use my fingers actually to just push it into that curve and make sure it's in there. And then and then follow on with the rest. I'm going to interchange. I quite often interchange between my transfer tool and the wooden lollipop stick. I particularly like using this one when you're using it into the corners of drawers and things. If you're doing drawer fronts, and if you're having to do around corners, because I like the little notch out. I find that really helpful. Take that little bit of tape off as well. I do like combining the transfers, and I think there's a lot that work that way. And I used the Parisian Letter. Gina, you're waiting for your US affiliate link. I know it's. I'm promised that it's there's something imminent. So, but don't let me hold you up on projects. Bless you. Thank you, Gina. Yeah, so I've used Parisian Letter before. I've used that on my piano that I have in my house. And it looks awesome. So there's a few bits that I'm not using. So you know, they're really easy, these transfers, to cut up and work out to fit your piece. So I'm just going to lift that corner and see how we're getting on. It's looking good. And just be patient. I know if you're new to it, anyone that's watching, have you used transfers before? Are you a seasoned transfer pro? If you're new to it, doing these little sections like this is a really good way to start. And then just go over, rub it, if you've got nice warm fingers, go on afterwards and just rub gently, just to make sure that everything's sticking how you want it. I've got a little something in the paint there actually. I thought, there we go. Got it. And as you pull your top paper away, try and do it really gently, because if it hasn't released perfectly, you've got yourself a chance to rectify it. I have made that mistake before. It will make you cry. And you just need to be a little patient. And there we go. I've got a little bit over the edge, which I shall just sand off. Anything that you get that goes around the edge that you don't want, you can just take a fine grit paper. Say I'll probably use about a 180 grit paper, and just take that excess off the edge that I don't want to be there. So that's our first piece on. I'm quite pleased with that. I can feel a little air bubble there, so I'm just going to give it a little rub. There we go, it's gone. You'll be able to hear if you've got air trapped, because it's not sticking. There's a little one there to work out as well. And that's another good reason to go over with your finger, because you can make sure that everything's stuck down how you want it. Okay, so that bit's done. I'm going to move back over to this side now, just twist you a little bit. So I have all sorts on the floor in case I need to show you anything. I've got these are the original little keyhole trims. I feel like they might be a bit weak and a bit measly, so I haven't 100% decided if I'm definitely going to use those. I might make some moulds. I feel like this needs something a bit more dramatic, especially with everything else that I'm adding to it. We'll just see. So again, this is just a scrap. Let me show you. See the guidelines on this piece. So this is a newer print, and all of the new ones have these guidelines on, and it really does help you line up. And where I've used it on on the edges of my piece to kind of give it a frame, they're really helpful. The lines are very, very helpful. And I haven't folded it over onto that top edge, just because I don't, it doesn't need to be there, it won't be seen when the drawer's shut. But I don't need anything extra, and it could scuff. There's a little bit of clearance, it's not massive. I'm just going to move from under my feet. Okay, so we've got that top edge done. I'm just going to use my fingers to curve it round and push it into that curve that we've got there. The other thing worth noting is where these are stained, I've actually just put a mark on my paintwork. So it sometimes is an idea to use your plastic tool, because if you're using a lighter coloured paint, occasionally you can get a mark. If you go off of your top paper. Didn't want to grab, but it's there now. And I'm just going to tuck that right the way in to that bottom curve there. Now I have got the piece, I haven't 100% decided. I've got that flower. I haven't 100% decided whether I'm going to do that and then follow it down the piece. I will probably look at that later down the line when I've done everything else, and I'm kind of just doing some finishing touches here and there, just to see whether it needs it or not. Switch again. Just feel like the wooden stick sometimes has got a little bit more give. It's nice, the tool is great for bigger flat surfaces, and obviously you get more of your transfers stuck down quicker because it's big. Like I said, I interchange between both all the time. Start peeling up. Just rub my finger over again. Make sure everything's sticking where it should be. And of course, when you're doing this at home, you'll have the drawer on the floor. I'm doing this so that you can see everything I'm doing. Hi Barb. I'm not looking at the screen loads, so if I do miss any questions, guys, I will go back and check all the comments afterwards. So I heard a little bit of air there when I was rubbing that bit over. Oh, that's pretty. Super pretty. Okay. So, should we move on to the... I'm going to move the camera back a little so I can just get in here. Let's just straighten you up a little bit, sorry. There we go. There we go. And of course you're getting flare from my light on the plastic here. I'm just going to take a little step back, make sure I'm happy that that's in the middle. It does appear to be, and of course it's a... I tend to eyeball most things. I haven't measured, and of course when you haven't got an even cut, it's nothing precise either. What I have got is a keyhole, which I think is in the middle. Not all of them are, but I think that one is. So I can use that as well. Okay. So how does that look? That looks pretty much in the middle, doesn't it? And I'm lining up the line with the bottom, the words on the bottom. That looks to be level to me. Let's hope, because I'm pressing it down. Yeah. Heather, I make you realise how impatient I am. Yeah, you have to be, you really do have to be patient. You do. That one doesn't want to stick at all. Let's hope we've not got an iffy one. Where's mine? There it is. Yeah, I'm probably going to say maybe I'm almost take too long, but there we go, it's sticking. Yay. And you might find that some transfers take you longer than others as well. But I do think it's worth being patient too. And you can see, I don't know if you can see closely enough, as I'm rubbing, you can see this one's not rubbed on yet. These ones are. Can you just see they're slightly lighter, and that's how you can tell when it's gone, when it's released. So if I lifted that off now, you see, they've released from the paper. They're not always as easy to tell whether they've released or not. The dark text is easier to tell. That one doesn't want to. There we go. And you know, this is a freshly painted surface. It's dried overnight, so there shouldn't be an issue. I do prefer to leave my painted surfaces to dry overnight rather than, you know, just touch dry. Oh, I tell you what, it's an arm workout. And the fact that this isn't a flat surface is working against me as well, of course. So I'm having to work on that curve. That's the kind of bulbous curve there. Hi, Lisa. There we go. Just have a look and see if the wood. Let me just I think the wood sometimes has a bit of give to it, but I think the curve is really working against us here. But it's still doing it. I've just missed a comment. Couldn't get to the comments or the like from the live page before. You figured it out now. Oh, brilliant. Good, good, good. Oh, that's right. I remember you messaging me saying you couldn't comment. That was strange. So just these last bits of text. Actually, they're going on okay. A little bit there, a little bit on the G. There we go. Whew, don't need to go to the gym now. Do you know what? I'm actually going to turn my heater off. It's warm in here. Thankfully, this is the only bit that's curved. I probably started with the most difficult piece for myself. Okay, so let's start. Although I can see it's released mostly, it's still best to just be careful because sometimes the adhesive hasn't quite. Yeah, there's still some bits of the adhesive that's still pulling. There we go. That A doesn't want to stick. There we go. So again, if you'd have just pulled that top sheet up, Lisa, what have you put there? Happened yesterday on a live, just a small window at the top and blank underneath. For my live, Lisa, or another one that you were watching? Does it look all right today? I haven't had anyone say they can't see me, so I'm hoping all as well. Yeah, so this is why I say, you know, do be patient. Do have patience when you're lifting your top sheet off. Be patient, because if you've got a little bit of adhesive that hasn't quite released as well, that will pull the rest of your transfer with you. And it's frustrating. Oh, there you go. Look, see, that's taken a little bit of that. Oh, luckily, because there we go. Because I saw it, I think a little bit of L stuck to me then as well. We might get away with that one. Okay. On another one, I clicked your link, went same. Back out and clicked on it. Oh, and it came back. Okay, good, good, good. Lisa, as long as you're with us, that's the main thing. So I'm just going to move you back a bit. So I'm really pleased how cute that looks already. And just be careful, again, like I said, all these letters, just go back really slowly over them and burnish the edges with your fingertip very, very lightly so that they're all stuck down. And that will go a long way to helping you with the halo. On these lighter colours, the halos are, I mean, you can barely see them anyway. So it is on darker colours that you'll experience that more. See, that S just rolled back on me. Darker colours will show it more. But if you burnish it well and then top coat, you're good to go. So I'm gonna do, actually, do you know what? I'm gonna do some more flowers. So I'm gonna take the camera down a little bit. There we go. And I'm also gonna move the camera, tilt it so that you can see a bit more. So we're gonna do some of the base now. Back to some flowers. So I've got a little bit of layering going on. I've added some, as you may know, let me show you the picture. So Wondrous Floral 2, it's got quite a, although it's not a square edge, the actual shape overall is quite a regular edge. and I wanted something that was a little bit more like a border. So this piece is this edge here with a little bit of trimming, and then I've cut some extra pieces to go around the edge. So I'm going to just be doing a little bit of layering, and then obviously this piece is going to go over the top. So I'm just going to take that off. I kind of just wanted you to see what my plan was. I've trimmed all of the joins. So this piece is a three, the Wondrous Floral comes in 3 sections. It doesn't show it on this one. Some of them show you where the cuts are, but it's in 3 sections like this, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So again, the guidelines helped me. So I've used my guidelines to cut down at the bottom, and I've trimmed off the join. Some people experience when you add the 2 edges together, there's like, I'm not sure what the terminology is, but there's like a bleed line where the printing goes. So if you just trim very, very, very closely to that edge, you'll lose that. Roz has got a really good video on how to do that and eliminate that line in the joins. But to be honest, a lot of the time I don't, you know, it doesn't even notice enough to worry about. Okay. So I'm going to just pull this bit up here. I've got a tiny little flower that I'm going to add into this section because there's a bit of a bare patch. So I'm just going to pop this one into that corner there. So I'm very much one that I have a vague plan on how my pieces are going to go, but I kind of have in the back of my head the plan is there is no plan also, because you just never know what's going to happen and how things are going to look and whether they're going to work, the plan that you've got. You just never know. Some things might just not want to do what you want them to do. So you know I was saying up there where you could see when it would release. On these flowers you can't really. So you just have to keep kind of pulling them back and see if you've missed any patches. That's gone on nicely. So as I said, I'm going to place this here because I really wanted this pretty peony bud there, but I'm going to do this piece first because I want that to layer over the top. Lisa, you've not seen someone join transfers yet? Oh, well, I better get cracking so that you can see me do that then. So we've got a few lines and you know where the jaws join. I'm just gonna work on that and just remind myself where that was. About there. So this one, I've got no edges. Oh, I have actually, tell a lie. I like to have a piece that doesn't matter if I hold on to it. So I'm gonna hold on to there. And we're gonna pop it down there. I'm gonna stick it to this drawer first, because that's my primary piece. And just move that. And again, like I've said to you before, just work in sections that you can feel comfortable with. And I've also got my craft knife with me. Oops, stick that there. I've also got my knife with me, just so that I can cut that gap. So I just pop it in to the gap. Doesn't want to go there now. Cheeky. There we go. And slice along. You could oh, it doesn't want to do that. I think I need a new blade actually. You could pre-cut it and measure it, but sometimes, like I said, your plan changes. So there we go. I'm just going to actually take that bit out of the way while we work with this piece. I'll make sure we're happy with that. So again, that was just sort of a scrap of one of the pieces that I hadn't used, and I just wanted to continue this, creating this border up and around. And I didn't want it to take away from the little peony bud that I'm going to be popping over it. There we go. So there we go, that works there. And then we're gonna just close that back up. And I'm gonna pop it onto that little bit in the middle. And I'm also gonna cut here. My craft knife it really needs a new blade. So that bit there, and then I'm going to pop that on the bottom of the top drawer, the upper drawer, and that'll fill in that gap. What have I done with my tool? And this is where I like using the tool instead, because you can get on that curve and push it onto that curve of the drawer. And it just sort of helps you out. Does the hard work for you. And I don't know if I can get my fingers in there. No, that's not stuck down yet. And the same here, just where it needs to go, under that lip. This is perfect. See this cutout? You see that? You see the little cutout? It just works perfectly on that piece. And we'll just burnish that little tiny section there. Okie dokie. And let's do this piece as well. I love these flowers, aren't they so pretty? So as I said, I'm just working on creating my border. So I'm just going to carry on up. Let's get the tape out of the way. Oops, that was close. I almost forgot I'd already done that bit. So is everyone feeling ready for Christmas? Have you managed to be out into the shops to do your Christmas shopping, or have you had to do it all online? I'll be honest, I've done most of mine online. I did send husband out yesterday, but he did not enjoy it. Every now and then I go really quiet, and you know that's when I'm concentrating, so sorry about that. And I almost forget that I'm talking to you. Hadn't stuck properly. There we go. So I've got a little bit of a crease there, but you can just burnish those out. There we go, pleased with that. Okay, Lisa, I'm going to crack on and do this piece and then do that piece so that you can see a join. Can you guys see enough of what I'm doing? I don't know whether I can't, if I come any closer, you're probably going to, let me just see if I can tilt you down anymore, hang on. There's a fine balance between, there we go, let's see. So I'm just going to remove that piece as well, just so that I've got space to work with. Tape. So I've got my line, and I wanted that peony bud to go right up to the edge. So that's pretty perfect. I'm going to like that. So this is obviously one of the knob holes. So it's whether that's going to then detract from the flowers or actually whether it's going to look quite pretty. I'm yet to fully decide. What do you guys think? Would you go, so this is, I've got slightly bigger ones for the bottom drawer because it's a bigger drawer. And I was going to put these on all of them to match. Do you think that would be too much? Do you think I should just go with the knobs on their own? I can't decide. Maybe I'll have to do a you guys vote for me. And what do you think? Look, yeah, that edge still not gone. Let's work on that edge. That's the edge I'm going to be lifting from. Oh, I tell you what, my floor's cold. Cold bottom. Think too much if I was doing them all white. Just, you think just knobs as well, Barb? Yeah, I think I'll do you know what? I'm going to check back in all the comments and see what everyone thinks. Now I'm going to say as well, so I've got a bit of layering going on. I've actually not experienced any problems with layering any of the transfers. And this one would be considered newish because it's got these lines on. So I think that would be considered new because it's a new batch. And I don't think I've had any problems. Again, you just have to have that patience. It's tricky when you get to these edges where you've got to pull it. It's fiddly. It just can be fiddly, that's all. There we go. But yeah, you know, that's fine with layering up there. We haven't got a problem. And what I've also done is I've pre-cut, they're over there, I've pre-cut the next piece. I'm not going to do that on here, but I've pre-cut to fold down and continue to the bottom, should a need be. What's that on there? Lisa, maybe look again when you're finished. The flowers are so colourful. I know, it's like I just want to put so much on it. But yeah, and that's why I said I always have half a plan, because you know, if you get your heart set on something and it does look too much or doesn't look quite right, I tested adding some of those knobbacks earlier, and then I realised where I was going to be putting everything, so I took them back off again. So it's just a little bit rough there. And of course the giant holes. Need to be careful around that hole, so I'm going to poke that in so that it doesn't try and pull any more with it. A bit of leaf doesn't want to come off because it's rough there. Yeah, another bit of leaf. That's where that rough piece is there again. There we go. And then I'm going to, I often will lift from the top, and then rather than pulling it all, because like over here I did it by mistake, and it almost folds in on itself. So I lift a little bit from the top, and then I lift from the other direction completely, so you kind of meet in the middle. Just in case it's not quite stuck down enough. You don't want it to curl in on itself. Another disaster situation. So I'm just going over again and doing the burnishing with my fingertips. And you can push out any creases. You'll be able to feel what you've got, what needs more work. But do it with some patience and do it slowly, just in case there is a bit of tackiness, and it will pull that back. It will stick to you. And okay, Lisa. So I'm going to do this join. So I have trimmed there. I may not have trimmed quite 100% close enough. We'll see. I'm going to take this piece off as well because I don't want that getting in the way while I'm doing this as well. And again, for those of you that haven't done transfers, doing these little sections like this, eyes peeled, Lisa, doing these little sections like this is a really good way of making it feel like a less daunting project. So I'm trying not to get in the way. You just line up where you've trimmed, basically. There we go. So I'm going to hold those while I push that down so that that piece doesn't move. So there may be a tiny little line there. If you've got a line, if it really bothers you, you can touch it up with some little artist paints. It doesn't take too much, but to be honest, I think that's going to be okay. It'll be less noticeable, obviously, when I take that top sheet off. I'm quite pleased with that join. And I'm going to have so much other stuff going on, so don't forget that this one here is going to have that over the top as well, which is going to, you know, it'll take away from any little seam that's in there. There's just so many pretty flowers in this. I'm really into florals at the moment, the floral transfers. I think because it's winter and nothing's got flowers on it, I think I'm more drawn to them than usual. Perhaps. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, let's just have a little... Oh, I can't get my nail under there. There we go. Yeah, that's done quite well. There's a tiny line, not too much. I probably could have trimmed a little bit more, but it's all part of the printing process. Terry, liking that? It is pretty. Do you know what? Sometimes things are meant to be. Like I said, I plan to use the Wondrous Floral one, the darker one. Lisa, you're going to do your first join now. Good. And I love that. I've not used the other Wondrous Floral, the darker one. And I really was a bit gutted when I realised I didn't have it in my cupboard, to be honest. But I do love this one, and I've used this one quite a bit. And actually, I think with this nice background, I think it's working really well. So sometimes things are meant to be. How are we getting on for time, guys? Okay, we're good. I'm glad I got a join in for you, Lisa. So this is my regular slot now, guys. If there's anything that you want to see, you can either drop it in the comments or pop me a message. It might not be an instant I can help, you know, do something for you, but I can have it in my list of things that need to be done for. I am a list person. I do a lot of lists, so it will always get added to a list. And this slot works quite well over the Christmas period because it doesn't fall on anything major, so I can carry on and not have to adjust anything. Terry, top coat before you transfer. I'm using Dixie Belle paint here, so no, that's not required. There are some transfers out there that they recommend. With the Redesign with Prima ones, it's not required. If you are having problems with the newer transfers layering, then they suggest trying a top coat in between, but you absolutely do not have to top coat your paint before using a Redesign with Prima transfer. Which is great because that's just another step that you can do without if you don't have to. So no, this is just paint on here. So I'm back over to my lumpy bumpy bit where I stuck my mould down and then changed my mind. But it's going okay. bit there. So I'm going to finish this one up, and then I'm going to love you and leave you. I feel it's, for me it's lunchtime. And there's a little stubborn bit there we go, got that. There we go. Oh, it's so pretty. I love these flowers. Okay, so for anyone that's joined us a little bit late, I'm just finishing up on the live purposes anyway. So I have been using the Parisian Letter, parts of it. There's some sections that I've not used, but we've used most of it. And the Wondrous Floral too. So that's the more sort of spring, early summer type of flowers in this one. And I've cut them both up to fit the purposes I need. I'm going to be doing a little bit of layering. That one's going to be popped over there as well. And I'm creating a frame and just some, I need to pull you back to the top. Let's just pull the camera up again so you can go back to seeing the whole piece. There we go. And I've added some moulds on the top cornices there. Cornices, I don't know, panels here. And I think that one's the Kingsbury medallion is the one that brings to mind. It's one of my favourites. There we go. So you can see the top there. I'll pull it back all the way. You can just about see the bottom as well. Okay, so that's what we've been working on. I hope you've enjoyed. Like I said, drop me any messages or comments if there's anything that you want to see that you haven't seen, or you'd like me to show you, and it will get added to a list. Drop over to my page if you haven't already and drop me some love. That would be awesome. Sorry, there's birds going mental in my garden right now. Lots of squawking. Drop me some love. That would be great. There's a couple of links up in the description as well. If you haven't linked up with a local supplier yet, there's a link there to find your local retailer. And there's also a link if you're in the UK or Europe for any products that you can buy online via my affiliate link. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch me today, and I hope you're enjoying what I'm producing for you. And I think probably the next time you see this, it will be hopefully finished and staged and photographed. Thanks for spending time with me. Bye.